Hey guys, it's Greg Jones from Motorcycle and Power Sports News. Today we're talking with Tony Mommone. He's the owner of Powersports of Palm Beach in Florida, and they are our dealer of the week. Tony, thanks so much for giving us some time this morning to chat about your background and everything that's going on at Powersports of Palm Beach. And like I said, what we'd love to start with is just getting to know you a little bit better. So give us a little bit about your background and how Powersports of Palm Beach kind of came to be.
Well, I got my head screwed on straight when I was like 21. So in 2000, I kind of got my life together. Um, I bought a Yamaha Warrior and started racing it on motocross, and that was not the bike to ride motocross. So within a year of building that bike, I bought a 250R and I started racing the 250R. And I got to the point where I was working with my dad at a big like trash burning power plant. So I could like cut with a torch, weld, fabricate, look at nuts and bolts and see which size wrench, all of that kind of mechanical stuff. And then I got to the point where I couldn't rebuild my little 250R engine. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to motorcycle school. So I went to motorcycle school in mid 2002, graduated mid 2003. I went to work for what's now Broward Motorsports. It used to be called Palm Beach Cycles. David Hamer used to own it. I went to work for them for about 4 months as a bike builder, which I didn't build bikes in school. I worked on bikes. So I damaged a few things and got fired. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start my own thing. I printed some business cards off of the internet. We didn't really have, the technology that we have now. So, I just got some perforated cards and made a little file and printed some cards out. My dad had a 900 square foot freestanding building on his property out where we lived out west. And I was able to start a little business in there. I got an account from Parts Unlimited or from Western Power Sports. I got my name in the phone book and pulled the LLC in June of 2004. And that's when I started out there. I worked out there from like 2004 all the way to 06. Then I moved into my first real retail location and got married in 06. So then, it was the bills, the rent,
Sure.
all the different stuff of running a business, which I had no idea what I was doing. I was, a drug addict off the street, basically that liked motorcycles. But anyways, I started in that retail location and, grew, did my thing. It was basically just me opening the shop, working on stuff, just one man band. 2008, I moved again. There was an opportunity to have another like a race shop. So I was able to kind of do this little build out and because I was really focused on ATV motocross back then.
Mhm.
So, when I worked on bikes, I made a living, bills were paid, everything was good. Then in 2011, I was able to purchase Powersports of Palm Beach. Now, you may think, oh, you purchased a business. I didn't really purchase a business. I purchased a lease that he already had, a name, and a phone number. That's literally all I bought for $6,000 in
Okay.
2011. I signed the paperwork. I gave him $6,000. He moved out. I moved in, and I ran both businesses for about 6 months in 2008. Well, my son was, newborn. So I was like, you know what? I can't go back and forth, blah, blah, blah. So I consolidated the shops in 2000, about 2000, mid 2011. And then basically it was me and another couple guys up until about 2016. Beginning of 2016, we another dealer kind of pissed me off about like selling bikes. So I was like, I can sell bikes, bro. Like, I'm not the guy you want to freaking tell me I can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I pulled my dealer license in 06. I hired one more person. So it was me and three other staff. 2015, we did $350,000 in revenue. In 2016, we did $1 million. And
Wow.
then it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until we picked up MV Augusta in 2018. That was our first franchise. We worked with them and got a couple of extra banks and started doing our used program. And we got to the point where we had about 120 used bikes on the floor, all prep, PDI, ready to go. And then we got Aprilia, Moto Guzzi, Vespa, and Piaggio the end of last year. So then we did this whole build out and all of this stuff. And, so from 16 at $1 million and 4 people, we did $7 million the last 2 years with 12 people. And that's the growth. So in 5 years, we went from $1 million to $7 million.
Wow.
So the financial growth has been huge. And really what it comes down to, dude, is just the leadership of the company, right? Like everything rises and falls to the level of leadership. So I work very hard as an owner operator that I'm here, that I'm in my staff's lives, that they know they can count on me, that they know they can call me. And just, attributing just the level of things that I want to see and the expectation and the standards and the process. Our motto is the highest standard in the industry. And that's what we try to do. Our experience from service to sales to parts to after sales to F&I to rentals to, pickup and deliveries, whatever we do, we try to do it with the highest standard in mind for the customer. Because at the end of the day, if a business focuses on money solely, then it's not going to be fun for the customer. Yeah, the business might make money, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be fun for the customer for a long period of time. Where we focus on the customer and their experience so that they have fun the whole time and are, they're more important to me than the money in their pocket. And that's just the way we do it, right? We're not a, get you in the finance office like you're in a freaking sales tactic for a timeshare, and just do all that nonsense that these people do. And again, just trying to be the very best at what we do, be the best at how we do it, and be the best at why we do it, is really just the kind of common thing that that's common thread that runs through the entire dealership. Every person knows what every other person's doing. They know each other's names. We're all a big family. Like there's no separated departments and nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's just very tight. We communicate extremely well on all different types of platforms as far as service and parts and our DMS. And the way I've kind of orchestrated everything that happens day to day at the dealership, I can literally be anywhere on the planet and find out exactly what my guys are doing, exactly what's happening, what they're working on, all of that kind of stuff. Just so it helps me when I'm away to make sure that I, make good decisions and, follow up on things and stuff like that. So, the other part of this business that a lot of people don't understand is that if you want to succeed in this business, you have to have help and you have to have relationships with people that are willing to potentially help. So the way I've figured that out is I drive around and purchase bikes all the time. That's kind of my job. So I'm in 10 dealerships a week, sometimes meeting GMs, meeting people, figuring out their pain points and helping them, because I do a lot more than just buy bikes. I've designed the entire shop, the flow of the entire shop, where things go, all of that type of stuff. So the relationships are extremely important because, do you know who National Powersports Auctions is?
Yeah.
NBA. Okay. So the founder, Clipper, do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's a mentor of mine and a business partner of mine. He took a liking to me the first time I met him, and we've been communicating ever since. He's helped me do a lot of things that I could never do without his help. So, again, it just goes back to the relationships. A lot of people just want to do their own thing and forget about everybody else, where I go into all my shops in Palm Beach. Nobody comes to my shop, but I'll go to everybody else's shop, talk, hang out, build relationships, because, in this business, you have to have relationships with other people. And that's just what I believe. Right. So, cultivating those relationships and making sure that it's not one-sided, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what can I do for you? And maybe you can help me out later. So I'm just, it's just I'm just different, dude. I'm not greedy. I'm not, I don't need to see any limelight. Like, I could care less what happens to me, what my name looks like. And I'm just, we just want to do what we do the absolute best. And then potentially maybe later on, once we have really proven that, and we have proven it. I mean, I have multi-million-dollar dealerships looking at us like, you know, how do you guys do this? Why do you guys do this? All this different stuff. Anybody that I show the store to, anybody that looks at my store, they always are like, wow, you know, because it's just different. You know, it's not the normal everyday dealership. We're still the mom and pop feel. What, you know, we're still that way. We want to keep it that way no matter how big we get. So, you know, like I said, we just do things different and we have fun doing it. And our customers, you know, enjoy coming in here and being able to buy a bike in 30 minutes and not having to sit around for 4 hours, you know. So, you know, it's you know, that's basically where we're at. The future basically looks like figuring out the new OEM product and the marketing and the sales tactics and the bike flips, you know, flipping from one bike to new, all of that kind of stuff is new to us, but we're just kind of rolling with it and moving with it and trying to learn that to when we get that with the parts and the service and the after sales and all of that stuff, then replicating it somewhere else, potentially another location, or taking our whole model, condensing it down and then going and consult. So,
yeah, very cool. Well, Tony, again, I really appreciate that background and learning a little bit more about what you guys have built. Tony, how long before you guys took ownership of Powersports of Palm Beach did that dealership exist?
2009, so 3 years. And it wasn't a dealership. He was just a service place.
Okay, gotcha. So
we weren't a dealership until 16. So I worked, you know, 14, however many, for 12 years before I sold a motorcycle legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Very good. Now, can you give me that rundown again of the OEMs that you work with and the types of vehicles that you guys offer, as well as some of the parts, gear, and accessories that you guys sell?
So we got Vespa, Aprilia, Moto Guzzi, and Piaggio. We focus on all brands across all the brands. We stock parts for, you know, most of the, you know, I got a full accessory department with bags and cases and all of that stuff. So we try to have stuff for people when they want it to where they don't have to order it. So Vespa top cases, you know, all the, you know, I've probably got $100,000 worth of crap sitting here for all these bikes. But then as the new bikes come out, you got to re-order stuff and re-get stuff and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So again, we're learning all of that, how all of that works, trying to make it, you know, run smoothly and make sure we have everything we need and the min-max reorders and all of that stuff so we don't miss any beat there. We also work with MV Agusta, but they're really not really a motorcycle. I mean, they're a manufacturer, but they don't sell enough bikes in the States to be recognized as in the NADA value guide. So it's very difficult to sell the bikes because they're stupid expensive. And unless you want a piece of art in your living room, that's really all you're buying it for. So we don't focus on that brand really at all. We do focus on the Piaggio group brands more than we do MV. MV also was bought a quarter by KTM. So the only reason I'm keeping the franchise is if KTM decides to buy the entire company, then potentially it could turn into something. Their bikes are nice, but they're just, there's only like 2 or 3 people that work for them in the USA. So like getting anything done is next to impossible. Anyways, what was the other question?
Just the other side with parts, gear, and accessories, just, you know, who you guys work with there.
I mean, we have a, you know, full accessories department. We work with all the different, you know, Western Tucker parts. I work with SIP scooters. We do a lot of OEM Vespa stuff. We do all the cool exhausts, SC Projects, Sparks, Motivation, Rizoma, all the aftermarket companies. You know, we stock exhaust, air filters, and tuners for all the Aprilias. We stock exhaust for the Vespa. We stock exhaust for the Touareg and the Moto Guzzis with tuners and exhaust. We have frame sliders from T-Rex Racing. So we try to have, you know, anything cool, you know, especially because the Italian parts are a lot cooler than the Japanese stuff, you know. They make a lot more stuff for the bikes that are cool. But yeah, trying to find all the cool stuff and putting it down. And we got, you know, we have pictures up and shows everything. We don't do a lot of e-commerce just because we don't have staffing for that. And it's just something you have to put a lot of time, effort, and energy to it to make it successful. So I haven't done that yet because I just don't think it's going to be that successful real fast. Mm-hmm. So the e-commerce side is we just, you know, we'll walk customers in, oh, looking at this bike, we'll walk them to the performance center, show them the pipes, let them touch it, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, as far as aftermarket companies, that's, all the top guys, is the big three distributors, Motivation, Moto D Racing, all the Italian companies that sell stuff, Biomici. We do, so we have gear and accessories for new stuff. We have a showroom for new with all new stuff in it, and helmets and jackets and gear. And then we have another parts department with all the like other stuff for like, dirt bike filters, stuff like that. Full parts department. We have all of our service stuff on hand: spark plugs, oil filters, oil, chains, sprockets, anything for service, fork seals, anything for that, so that we don't have to wait and order parts for the guy that comes in that wants to get his bike worked on.
Yeah.
And, we try to just, like I said, every square foot of this shop has to either make money or be useful in some way. So we have 9,000 square feet. If you walked into the shop, every little spot is being used. Every space is being used for something. And it's purposed like that. So that we can understand how much floor space we have, what we can actually do with this floor space that we have. And if we need floor space to do something else, where can we cut and add, or so on and so forth. So everything's very strategic on where things are placed, how things are put, helmets, different, how high they are at, where the jackets are at based with the helmet, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I have a great parts manager that really does his research and figures stuff out on how to sell stuff. And then plus the other thing too is like what a lot of people don't understand is you're not buying a bike, you know what I'm saying, from Powersports. I'm selling you the bike. You're buying me and him and my staff, right? So we try to sell ourselves. We don't try to sell the bike. Like, we try to sell the relationship, the easeability of process, the ease of being able to do things without being, trying to be taken advantage of, because everybody knows they call them stealerships for a reason. So we just, we're just different, and trying to get that through the whole circle, and people understand why we're different, not just looking that, oh, hey, they look different, but why are we different? That's why we are different, because we actually care about people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Now, Tony, you mentioned a few of the brands you guys carry. Is there one model or one brand that kind of rises to the top in terms of sales recently for you? And same on the accessories side, what's kind of been the hot ticket over there?
Well, everything's kind of hot because we're a new dealer in South Florida and Palm Beach. So Vespa hasn't been around here forever. Aprilia hasn't been around here forever. Moto Guzzi has never been here. Piaggio haven't been here forever. So, when we put all of our inventory on Cycle Trader, it literally, we exploded with people looking at stuff, right? Impressions and stuff. And then it's kind of got back down to where it normally is with the number of bikes that we have. If you have 120 bikes on your lot, you're probably going to get 150 leads a month, and you'll probably close 30 or 40 of them. So making sure that the inventory is up, because, when we started, we had, 40 new bikes and we still had 100 used. So that's where that jump in impressions came. But then as it settled down and people started, as our used kind of got down and our new kind of stayed the same. So now we have about 120, but half new, half used, rather than 120 just used. So Moto Guzzi has been extremely good for us. We're the only dealer on the eastern seaboard of Florida. They do have one in Jacksonville, but that guy's a coop, and they're building another store in Daytona, which is probably going to take a little bit of my market share. But we're extremely working strategically in marketing so that we can literally just destroy people, in looking for bikes. Because there ain't no dealer that's going to hold a candle to our process with these brands. No one in the country. They may be able to discount more and do all of that. And if somebody's looking for a price, they may get it. But if you want a good experience, I promise you, you're not going to have a better one than here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Moto Guzzi and Vespa are really been and Aprilia. They've all been good. We're going through the bikes, we're going through the accessories. So just the Piaggio group has probably been the best for us, just because it's new, it's fresh. The store looks new, the store looks fresh. It's got all their dumb shit in here to put bikes on and all the little crap to make it look good. So that's basically, and then, our used is used. We used to do about 40, 50 used bikes a month. Now we're down to 30 or 40 because, the climate and markets and all the things going on. But, it's just one thing that we have to consistently look at, all the markets, the trends. I mean, this shit changes every week, dude. Like literally Harleys could be up, Harleys could be down. Metrics could be up. They never come down. They make, it's just been very odd. So we just try to keep our ear to the ground and listening and hearing and feeling what the market does, to try to anticipate what happens before it happens. Therefore, that we don't have, like I'll give an example. The end of last year, I had to buy just any bike I could to put on the floor that was remotely I could make money on.
Mm-hmm.
So through that time, I had, sales got a little slower, but I still had a bunch of inventory. And then we got the new units. So what we had to do is we basically had to clean house out of everything that was aged. So we've been working on that, trying to get that out of here. We got 4 or 5 bikes that need to be out that are aged. Other than that, then we'll start from a fresh platform. I've been storing I got 40 bikes in my storage unit that I haven't released yet, just because I'm trying to get through all of that old stuff. And that's just a sales stack that we try to come up with. So we don't want to put brand new stuff on the floor and have the old stuff still sit there. So we're just kind of wait until we get rid of it. Then we're going to stuff all the new stuff in there. Again, it's a tactic that we think is going to work. It may work with us, may work, who knows, you know what I'm saying? But we're always trying. We're always trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah. Tony, you brought it up a couple times, so I'd like to dig deeper into it. Just kind of your process and what makes you guys a little bit different from the traditional power sports dealer. You mentioned, some folks might be in for 4 hours trying to buy a bike, where with you guys, it might be more like 30 minutes. Not asking you to give away the secret sauce, but can you dig a little deeper into what some of those key differences are?
I mean, I pretty much stated it. We actually care about the people rather than their money. So, when you care about people, you care about their time, you care about everything about it. It's not just the sale, right? So you care about where they went on vacation, you care about if they're married or not, you care if they have pets. You develop a relationship with your customer rather than just trying to sell them something. So something that we're working on right now is that almost every dealer website on the entire planet is trying to sell you something. You go on any dealership, sell, buy, whatever. There's shit going on everywhere. So what we're about to develop is manufactured sites that basically all it is content. I'm not trying to sell you a single thing. I just want to expose you to the brand with videos and pictures and write-ups and tech and all of that stuff. And then if you're looking to buy, then there's maybe a button that says, go to my website and look at the bike. So that's something that we're doing to kind of eliminate the just going to my website if you want information, because again, I don't want you to have pressure like I'm trying to sell you something on my website. I'd rather, you know what I'm saying? So it's something a little different. So that's a little different. We haven't started that yet, but we have our websites, URLs and all that stuff. The other thing that I think is important with the process is that, again, when you care about people and not trying to make as much money out of them, your process is just obviously going to be different. So most dealers, when you call, hey, you're interested in this bike, when can you come into the store? They want you to come into the store. Some people don't want to come in the store. They just want to know the out-the-door price. They want to know this. They want to know that. So we're a big believer in putting 0 roadblocks in front of somebody that wants something. So, I mean, I've turned situations in where customers are like, why are you asking so much money, this and that? And then I talk to them and just tell them the truth. I mean, that's the other side of the coin, is the truth. Just be honest with people. Be honest with people and they'll be honest with you. We've been honest with people and they'll be like, okay, I understand. I didn't know that. I understand now. And you help them rather than you're trying to, you know what I'm saying? It's just different. Right. So, and again, it all comes down to caring about people and who they are and why they're here and their experience with you. Because if you care more about that, then that customer will be a customer for life and they'll tell everybody about you rather than just being like, oh, hey, I got my bike Powersports.
Yeah, we have a testimony. There's a guy who just bought his 6th bike from us. He's been a customer since 2014. And
awesome.
That's what it's about. You know what I mean? Coming back the same spot where he bought his first bike from, and now he's on his 6th bike.
Yeah.
We have a customer who's purchased 3 bikes from us in the past 6 months, a scooter and 2 motorcycles. So people, guys coming ordering 3 or 4 Vespas from us. We sold a Gucci bike which is super rare. We sold 2 of them to the U.S. Polo Club in West Palm Beach, and so really cool testimonies. But they come to us because they love the experience. You
Yeah.
know, take the time. We even deliver bikes to them. Like, hey, you want to ride out here? Hey, we'll take it to you. You know, we got you.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is that the way we are structured is my sales guys are on commission. So front end, back end, F&I, they all split it basically. And I have 2 guys. Okay. So one does leads, one does finance apps, and they go back and forth just working with people. One vets them, one gets them approved and handles that. So one guy vets the customer, gets everything we need, credit app, driver's license, income, moves to finance, finance bangs them out, has them come into the shop. Hey, you're $3,000 down, 400 a month. All right, cool. I'm coming in, set the appointment, bike's ready to go, name on it, out front, polished up. Dude comes in, sees his name, comes in, signs his fucking papers, he's out of here. 20
License
minutes.
plate, everything. We get everything.
License plate, everything. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Like in a bigger dealership, you have your title person, your freaking admin, your controller, your cashier, your salesperson, your sales manager, your finance manager. We don't do that. We got 2 guys you're going to talk to, and they're both named Steve. So it's kind of hard, right? So again, that's our process. Most sales departments is you have your little floor guys, your internet guys, and they get the leads and get them in. And then they get a credit app, and they go sit in the finance office, and then that guy takes their freaking head off and spends an hour in there because he makes money selling F&I product. He doesn't make money selling the bike. So if he doesn't make any money in that office, so to me, that is a cancer to the sales department, because that's where the pressure and the tactics and the time and the bullshit come in, and we just eliminate that. If you want a warranty, you'll buy a warranty. If you want gap, you'll buy gap. I don't need to sell it to you. I'm happy with selling you a bike. So that aspect of the dealership for our dealership is nowhere to be found. We don't have sales towers. We don't have a sales guy, and then the sales manager. Well, sir, you know, you wanted to be at just the truth, bro. Just the truth, and make the customer happy at whatever cost, and that's it. You know, that's the process.
And it works, man, too, because like I've been here almost 3 years now, and it's really cool how none of us, and most dealerships, like you stick to your own area. Like, no, we help all each other out. Like last Saturday, we were slammed. I was out there selling bikes. Like we're all knowledgeable and want to help each other out. It's not a competition here, and like everyone cares about everyone. We do warm handoffs. Like if someone needs to go to the parts department, I'll personally walk them down to the parts department, introduce them.
Yep.
You know, just stuff like just little small things like that go a long way and help build relationships. Or sometimes customers come in and they just want info, so we'll take the time and show them the bike and tell them all the info. It's not wasting our time. We're just giving them knowledge. Might want them to be comfortable. You know,
that's great. Now, so Tony, obviously you guys have been doing really well for a little over a decade. You guys have seen growth. You've seen bigger sales, but I'm sure there's still some challenges and maybe some challenges because of the growth. Can you talk a little bit about what some of those bigger challenges have been in recent years?
So I guess the biggest challenge that I've faced would be the financial aspect of the business. So I can run a $350,000 business standing on my head. I could probably run $1 million business standing on my head. A $7 million business is out of my pay grade. So when we hired our CPA, probably maybe 17, 18, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So he came in with all our experience and basically got the business to look financially, not look, but put all the numbers together and make it right. So the foundation for us, because I just kept growing and growing and growing and growing until I got to the point where there's too much stuff moving around. And that's when she came in and kind of leveled the playing field to where I can do what I need to do. Everybody gets, paid. Everything's getting paid. So that was kind of, and it wasn't a struggle because I didn't have to look for somebody. She just kind of fell in and kind of moved in, and which was good. But I guess the struggle, dude, like the hardest struggle right now is finding clean used bikes. So I don't know for a fact, but do you know who Rumble On is? I'm sure.
No.
Rumble On? No? Okay. So if you want to look them up, they're basically the cancer to the motorcycle business. What they are is they're CarMax for the motorcycle business. The former CEO of CarMax is the CEO of Mommone, and they've developed a call center and algorithms on the internet to basically purchase every bike that gets posted on the internet before. And the reason I know this is because one of the guys that used to work for them developed basically a Google crawling bot to search, offer up, marketplace. Now you can't search marketplace, but anywhere a bike's posted besides marketplace, their spider can literally find it before, even as soon as it gets posted, their call center calls the guy and says, hey, we're going to make a cash offer on your bike. So now I'm not only fighting call centers, I'm actually fighting AI, and I'm fighting 100 other douchebags out there trying to buy a bike. And it's just extremely difficult. Auction prices are high, no inventories out there. So the biggest struggle of the last year is inventory, used inventory. But again, I work with multiple dealers. I hunt bikes on the street. I do all kinds of different stuff to purchase inventory, where most dealers are extremely one-sided. They're only getting trades. They might buy it from the auction, whatever. They may know a wholesaler, whatever. I have 7-8 avenues to purchase units, and that's the only reason we're able to have units now, is because that I have developed that with the relationships over the last 5 or 6 years. So as far as the growth, I mean, really, we haven't really had any real issues, dude. No staffing issues. Again, it's a good place to work. I treat my guys with respect and honor. They get paid well.
Amen.
And again, it's not about, I mean, I haven't taken a raise in probably 3 years, dude, but I can live on what I make, and it's all good. I'd rather continually build the business rather than continually build my kingdom, if you will. There'll be a time for that, but yeah, man, just focusing and trying to be the leader that I'm called to be all the time, right? And making sure that I'm actually leading and not, bossing, or you know what I'm saying? Just making sure that I'm here and that my people know I'm here, and that I'm not just out hanging out on a boat, whatever. Like, we're grinding, If I'm not here, you better believe I'm out trying to do something for the shop, So, but yeah, man, I mean, this, our space is really good. We got 9,000 square feet for $8,000. So in South Florida, that's absolutely absurd. So our overhead is low. Our staff is really good. I don't have a revolving door. I mostly headhunt every staff that I hire, because I know what I want before I know what I want before the position's open.
Yeah.
And I'm always kind of like wooing people that I know, because when the time comes, and if I have somebody leave or something unexpected happens, I need to be able to pop, to keep moving. Because again, we're 13 staff. We do $7 million. Most people doing that kind of money have 30 people, Yeah. So we're extremely efficient. We're extremely, together. And that's, one of the reasons why we don't really struggle with things, because we're all together. We're a family.
Yeah.
I'd say the best thing about us leadership too is like we're willing to change things up. A lot of dealers are so stuck in certain ways, which to me I think is a downfall, because there's always newer technology. Every year stuff's always coming out, and we're ahead of that. We're investing in companies that like Dealership Performance 360, like their technology is so far ahead of the game compared to other ones, and we're willing to do the research. Like every week, man, I'm always looking up different companies, different softwares to help benefit us, so we can stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, and that's actually a great segue. I was going to ask, what you guys do to continue to drive traffic and sales at the dealership, and I'm sure working with the guys at Dealer 360 is kind of part of that. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So right now, the struggle right now is, for me as in marketing, is that the algorithm and like social media is always changing. And so right now we're researching ways to kind of stay ahead of that curve too, even though it's really hard. But, we're always taking pictures of our customers who buy bikes. We have a lot of cool Facebook groups with like thousands of people in it that we're always just communicating with. I love to stir up discussion. Like that's a win for us. It's like, let's talk about the motorcycle industry, not just sales, but hey, like, what do you guys think about this Yamaha R7 compared to this RS660 Aprilia? Like, let's talk about it and see what they're talking about,
Yeah.
getting their opinions on things and seeing what they like so we can get stuff like that in our inventory. Just doing things like that and investing in certain things like stickers for kids. We do events. COVID kind of hit us pretty hard, but we're trying to do events again, like getting food trucks at our shop every month and little things like that for our community because our customer base is already there, but as somebody said, like, want people to know just who we are, right? Like we actually care. We're not trying to get you in and out. We want to build a rapport with our customers so they can keep coming back. And so we try to do that with our marketing as well. Make customers feel happy, share a little bit about them, congratulate them on their purchase and tag them if they have social media so their friends can see. And the cool thing too is like by doing that, like we have one customer, his name's Chris. He bought it like 10 dudes this past, like all of his friends the past 2 months, and they all bought bikes from us. Like that's a win for me for marketing is like getting their friends to see the other friends buy bikes and come back to us.
Yeah.
And I think that, we've been doing some incentives as well, incentivizing customers just to say thank you, not for, do something for me and I'll do something for you, but just be like, hey man, here you go. Thank you. We got our, our gift cards and
gift cards now.
Store,
Yeah.
stuff
Oh,
like
nice.
that. The one thing that stays pretty consistent with marketing is the number of units that you have compared to the leads that you'll get every month.
Mhm.
So what I've learned in this business that if you have 40, you'll sell 10. If you have 60, you'll sell 20. If you have 80, you'll sell 30. If you have 100, you'll sell 40, so on and so forth. You're not a Harley Davidson dealership. I can't compare numbers to any other kind of dealership because most dealerships don't do what we do. They don't work on every bike. They don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a lot of stuff that we have to do as far as marketing goes to make sure that we're staying relevant and also just in front of the customer. So, you could send email blasts out every month and they might not ever get open. But if somebody sees that you're sending them an email, it's just saying, hey, Powersports of Palm Beach, just kind of staying on their mind. So trying to figure out ways that we can continually stay on people's mind without trying to have them sell them anything, like what Jay said, the comments, and we don't, like I said, we own probably 8 or 9 Facebook groups with all kinds of stuff that we send out posts. We do things all the time. Yeah. But just kind of just keeping the inventory fresh, making sure that, we communicate properly, because everybody knows, like people come into the store and they're like, hey, where's your, before they're like, where are your used bikes? We're like, dude, everything in here is used. Really? They look brand new. Well, that's what we do. So let's not talk about getting a discount off this price because, shit ain't hard to get here. You know what I'm saying? Don't fall out of the sky. So, inventory, keeping the inventory rolling and making sure that you stay on top of not having stuff here more than 120 days is really kind of just what keeps the ball rolling in sales. As far as service goes, the service has been going up and up and up because we're doing our first services. We're selling all these new bikes. So we're getting all of that. Eventually we'll transition into potentially only working on our own brands and potentially only working on other brands when we really want to, or if it's beneficial to the company and not taking in a 99 Goldwing that needs $3,000 worth of shit,
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's basically, keeping the inventory up is what'll keep the traffic flowing.
Yeah. And Tony, you went into the service side there for a second. So I'd love to talk more about that. Right now, given like a rough estimate of percentages, what percentage of the dealership is service versus, the used and new bike sales and all that stuff?
30-70.
Okay. Very good. And you said currently you're working on, most bikes that people bring into you as well as the brands that you guys offer.
Yeah. I mean, service is where I came from. So like service is my baby. I know service. Yeah. I know, you put me on the phone with any customer, I'm closing them. It's just, I know how to talk. I've worked on bikes for 20 years. They got a problem. I immediately know what's wrong with it, blah, blah, blah. I make them feel like, the way they should feel. And you know what I'm saying? So like service is extremely important to me, but it's difficult spreading out so far and having your technicians be efficient because they're working on multiple things every day from multiple brands with multiple problems. Yeah. So again, it's not new, but it's hard.
Yeah,
So figuring out the flow to be efficient in service is tough. It's very tough. But we're getting there. We've been making progress. I have a new service writer. He's a young kid. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Knows how to talk to people. He's just really, really good, knows bikes. So he's been, and I actually promoted him to interim service manager because he's that good. So, and just kind of working on, the sales department does its thing. As long as I buy bikes, that thing does its thing. I don't have to worry about them. They don't, I 100% trust in every single person in that department. I don't worry about nothing. But service, on the other hand, is kind of it's a bigger beast, even though it's smaller in percentage and money. It's a bigger beast because there's thousands of much more moving parts. A bike is a bike, a VIN number, a bill of sale, and title paperwork. Services is an RO, a technician, clock in, order parts, parts manager, parts receiver, parts, liaison, RO back to the company. It's different, So managing all that flow and process is tough with 4 people, So it's actually 5 people, but I'm not there only half the time. So it's like 4.5. So,
So, Tony, one thing I did want to ask you about the service side is, if you guys have some kind of a shop tip or trick that has helped save you guys a little bit of time or just made a certain process much easier, and I'm not talking about processes necessarily as much as I'm talking about like actually working on a bike or a vehicle.
So this is an application called Trello. And this is basically the way we communicate internally in service without actually having to pick up the phone or send a text message. So if I come down here and go to my service board, I'll show you how this all works. Okay. So Trello basically is a communication app. So every one of these cards here is an RO. Okay. So if you look at PDI requests, these are bikes that as soon as my title manager puts them in my DMS, she creates a Trello card. And then that Trello card is what we use to communicate where the technicians clock in and out and they tell us what needs parts or what needs whatever. They put their description in there. Service manager gets an email, writes out the description in the RO, puts the parts in there, calls the customer to get them an okay, and boom. So it literally takes all the guesswork out of talking to people, right? Like talking to the technician, talking to the service manager. So like, I'll show you one that's been done here. Let's look at this one. So you can see parts on order, December 16th, parts complete, December 20th, and then left message calling to customer to confirm appointment. And that's where we're at with this bike, right? So everything on the top has, PDI requests, waiting on parts, ROs needing to source parts, customers needing approval. And then this is bikes that are ready to schedule, my crap. And then here's our schedule, right? So this is what they're doing today. This is what they're doing tomorrow. And then this is basically waiting on customer picked up. So this is a way that I can communicate to all my guys. If they have a question, we all see it when everybody comments. So everybody like, oh, I need to do this. Everything's easy and done and communicated with. A customer calls in, we write it in, boom, boom, boom. It's just a way to keep all this service within 4 people real tight and close in one spot. So you're not having to look for anything at any particular time. We also use Trello for our sales board. So this is our sales board. So we use a software called Simple Dealer. And basically what Simple Dealer is so this guy right here, he just put in this credit app this morning. Okay. So I'm going to click on him. And what happens is our program Simple Dealer, when somebody fills out the credit report, it immediately builds a Trello card and puts all the information into my guy's system right here. So phone number, address, basically all this stuff's on his credit app. It gives me a soft pull. I look at their credit. I know which bank to go to. Once I know what bank to go to from looking at the guy's thing, look, he's interested in a Gixxer 750 with 1,800 down. So now my guy looks like got $100,000 salary, 12 months, looks like he's a buyer. Looks like this guy can buy a bike. So now my guy, once the credit app comes in, he'll get his POI, whatever he needs after we submit him to the bank. The bank will come back and be like, blah, blah, blah. My sales guy gets the information, sends it in, gets the approval. Finance guy calls a guy, come in, sign your paperwork, and you're out of here. Boom. See you later. Done. We communicate all online. We do call on the phone, but most of the stuff is online. And then from here, basically, my guy will come in and he'll write, on this credit app, Cycle One Financial. Like here, let's look at this guy here, Pedro Diaz. So you can see he got his Sheffield Financial, $2,000 down, 60 months. So I know his term right there, and these different lines up here. So received, waiting on STIPs, approved, sold pending funding, and funding. That's it. So all the communication, driver's license can go in there. All this stuff for the deal can all go in there. And then all that stuff gets moved around. And this is how simple it is to move. You basically take it here and put it here.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. So Trello is one of and I use a lot of software. I use Simple Dealer. I use Trello. I use DX1. I use Cycle Trader. I use all the gamuts of things to make things extremely efficient and extremely to where nobody has any guesswork. So as long as the data is getting put in, everything's kosher. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I could definitely see how that would streamline a lot of things. Looking forward in the next year or two, you guys have again seen some impressive growth recently. What's kind of the next step for Powersports of Palm Beach? What's maybe something you want to know more about within your own business, and what's something that you guys are striving towards?
We're gonna go with some EV, dude. We're gonna go on get on the EV train. We have a rental program in the works right now. It's about to launch probably this week or next week. So we're gonna be renting EV vehicles, EV scooters, EV motorcycles, EV Stasic bikes, scooters. So we're gonna get people taking all the EV shit we can't sell and letting people rent it, and hopefully we can get some sales from it. So the EV business is not super big in the motorcycles yet. I mean, we're not ready for it yet. It's not a car, we're not there yet. So in order to bring down some of the walls where people, we're just going to start renting them. So, and hopefully we can make the money on them and get rid of them and keep on doing it and making money. So, the EV rental program is how we're going to get involved in the EV business. I mean, we sell Vespa electric, Piaggio electric, Aprilia coming out with an electric bike next year. So we're going to be selling them. But again, the market is not there yet. So we're going to try to penetrate the market through rentals and then hopefully build our customer base with the rental program. We don't know what it's going to do. We could rent things every freaking weekend. We have no clue.
Right.
But it's a revenue stream. We already have the inventory. It's real simple. So we're just going to go for that. That's really the next big thing on our agenda.
Awesome.
And other than that, just keep grinding away, finding motorcycles.
Awesome. Well, Tony, I really do appreciate the time. Pleasure learning more about yourself and about Powersports of Palm Beach and everything you guys have going on. So unless there was anything else that you guys wanted to add, I think I've gone through the questions I had for you. So again, I appreciate it.
Okay. Cool, man. Well, we appreciate it too. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Well, I just want to thank you for tuning into this episode of Dealer of the Week. Make sure you guys are checking out everything that Tony's got going on over there at Powersports of Palm Beach. And as always, make sure you're checking out Motorcycle and Powersports News for more motorcycle and powersports content. We'll see you guys next time.